This is the Cody's MMA Uncensored. Yes, he is back. Sorry, I waited till Friday. I was going to do shows every Wednesday, and I kind of am late. I'm sorry, but I'm here now. I'm ready to get the show rolling. You know, today we're going to talk about interesting fights signed for future MMA cards. We're going to talk about Nick Diaz finally speaks out about him being replaced and then rebooked in another fight. And of course, we'll break down tomorrow night's UFC Fight Night 25. And also, I might even talk about tomorrow's night's Mayweather-Ortiz fight. I'm not going to watch it because I have other stuff to watch, not just UFC Fight Night 25, but, you know, big football game tomorrow night for the Cody. Boomer Sooners versus the Florida State Seminoles, and not really a Florida State fan, not really an Oklahoma fan, but I just really want to see Florida State do well, and I'm really interested to see that game. I knew it was going to be totally impactful, but this is MMA, not football, so let's get it rolling, because that's what the Cody said.
I'm my chipos, man. I got this, yeah.
Alright, our first topic, we're going to talk about some sites that were signed for future MMA cards, mostly UFC, but let's talk about the one that's not UFC. Fedor Emelianenko is signed to fight at an M1 Global show in Moscow, and his opponent will be Jeff Monson. I think this is clearly a setup for Fedor to win. I don't expect Jeff Monson to beat him. We got to remember here, I do not think Fedor Emelianenko is over the hill. I don't think he should have lost to Fabricio Werdum. He got overzealous and got kind of triangle. Bigfoot Silva, I give you that one. Bigfoot Silva, too big, too strong. I give you that one. Dan Henderson, I don't care what you guys say. Dan Henderson got lucky against him. He shouldn't have lost to him either. So to me, yes, he's lost 3 in a row, but I'll only give one win over him a credit, and the other 2 I really kind of pretend didn't happen. But am I saying he could beat guys like Overeem or Lesnar or Velasquez or Dos Santos? No. He's not a top tier guy anymore, but he still has quality years in him, and I still think he could beat good guys, just not those level of guys. Jeff Monson, I don't know why he's still fighting. Personally, I don't like the guy. It's not the anarchist thing that really bothers me, is that, you know how I am about boring fighters, and I've never in my life seen a exciting Jeff Monson fight, so yeah, that's pretty much why I don't like the guy. One that was signed for next month's UFC was kind of a rebooking. It was supposed to be Diego Sanchez versus Matt Hughes. Diego Sanchez broke his hand. I was very upset about that because I'm a big Diego Sanchez fan. I didn't think he could get to a title shot, but I still wanted to see him get a win over a big name like Matt Hughes and go on and, you know, maybe be talked about for title contention and see what he could do there. I heard he's been, you know, mixing up his training a little bit, and, you know, I was very excited to see what he would bring to the table. He said he learned a lot from the Martin Kampmann fight, even though he won, and I wanted to see what he was going to do. Maybe it's just me hating on Matt Hughes. I've never been a big Matt Hughes fan, but I thought Diego Sanchez would win that fight. I'm not going to say easily, but I didn't see Matt Hughes giving him too much problems. So, too many problems. Maybe on the feet, Matt Hughes has underrated striking. It's what led to his submission victory over Ricardo Almeida, but I didn't see him beating Diego Sanchez, not even a little. But now he's gone from bad to worse, and now Matt Hughes will be fighting Josh Koscheck. Now, this is the second time Josh Koscheck has filled in for an injured Diego Sanchez. Remember, back at UFC 90, we were supposed to see Diego Sanchez versus Thiago Alves. Diego Sanchez was on a roll, whooping everyone's ass again, and I expected him to beat Thiago Alves, because remember, I'm not really on the Thiago Alves bandwagon. I think he's a great striker, just not a great fighter. So, if you don't know the difference, get off my ass. Matt Hughes will pose no problems to Josh Koscheck. I could be in for the most shocking upset of the year, maybe, but I think Koscheck's a better striker, a better wrestler. The only thing that Matt Hughes has on him is probably the submission game, but he would have to get him to the ground first, and as strong as Matt Hughes is, I don't think he will get Josh Koscheck to the ground, and he probably realizes that, so this will probably be a stand-up war. Well, not really a war. I expect maybe not as fast as BJ Penn did, but I think Josh Koscheck will probably knock him out in the first round. Even though Koscheck's been on a long layoff, but I don't see Matt Hughes getting an upset. Okay, let's see what else we got here. UFC 140, Tito Ortiz back again. He's going to take on Antonio Rogero Nogueira. They were supposed to fight on live TV, but Tito Ortiz pulled out. And a lot of people think Tito Ortiz will get annihilated in this fight. I don't agree with that. I think Tito Ortiz could get it to the ground, and I think he could do some damage, and maybe it probably will be a boring fight. Let's just be real. And he'll probably do what I hate and probably wrestle him for 3 rounds. But that's how I kind of see the fight going. I mean, no, he's not Phil Davis, but I've never really seen terrific takedown defense from Rogério Nogueira. Maybe he'll work on it. I don't know. But we'll see. I'm still pulling for Tito. I'd like to see Tito get a win, but we'll just have to see come UFC 140. Let's see what else we got here. UFC 139 got a very interesting fight that I was surprised to hear about. Like, someone on Twitter told me about it, and I thought they were bullshitting me. And then I looked it up on MMAJunkie.com and found out it was true. Kung Lee signs with the UFC and is gonna be fighting Vitor Belfort. Okay. This is my feelings about Kung Lee. Kung Lee is an overhyped martial arts movie star who beat irrelevant guys, and he's very popular, I give him that, but he's just not that good. And he's fighting Vitor Belfort. You thought the knockout to Akiyama was bad. This one will probably be worse. Do I think it will be as fast? No, because Kung Lee is kind of elusive, so that'd be interesting. But Vitor Belfort has the fastest hands in MMA and will probably knock Kung Lee on his ass. And, I mean, Scott Smith knocked him out for Christ's sake. So, yeah. I don't know what... I mean, if you wanted to make money off of Kung Lee, you should have put him up against Chris Lieben. That would have been... He would have had more chance against a Chris Lieben to, would he would have beat my boy? Hell no. He wouldn't have beat Chris Lieben, but he would have had a better shot than beating Vitor. I mean, he has no shot at Vitor whatsoever, and I don't give a shit what anyone says. He will get annihilated, period. Okay. Let's just be real on that. Okay, let's see. What else we got here? I've written them down, and that's what I'm looking at. Last one, probably going to be a very boring fight. I mean, they gave us Brock Lesnar, Alistair Overeem for this card, so I guess they decided they could throw a boring fight on there since we get this mega fight, and that's John Fitch versus Johnny Hendricks. Both wrestlers. Who's the better wrestler? Probably Fitch. I don't really know too much about Johnny Hendricks' background. I've hardly seen him fight. I've seen him a few times in the WEC, and then I saw him knock out Amir Sadala. I don't know, man. Well, I do think John Fitch will win, but he has been on a long layoff. He hasn't fought since since the draw to BJ Penn. Will that play into factor? And John Fitch has a durable chin, but I described it before. I kind of describe his chin kind of like Tim Sylvia, to where if you hit him hard and if you catch him in the right spot, you can knock him on his ass, but it'll be hard to knock him out. Mike Pierce did it. George St. Pierre did it. BJ Penn did it. You can hit him and you can put him on Queer Street, but he's hard to finish. Johnny Hendricks has a powerful right hand, but I don't see him getting the win. I think John Fitch is going to fitch this entire fight and probably win. Not easily, but, we'll see. I was kind of shocked Johnny Hendricks beat Mike Pierce. I thought Mike Pierce was definitely an up-and-comer, a guy that could really, put a stutter step, maybe, put a stutter step to the to falling stars or rising stars. I thought he was a good fighter, and I was very shocked that Hendricks beat him. But shit happens. All right, well, those are the fights. As for what I really want to see, really none of them. In every fight, maybe other than the Rogerio Nogueira versus Tito Ortiz fight, everyone else has a pretty clear-cut favorite, so I'm not really, but I thought they would be interesting, and I thought I would share them with you because I am the Cody, and that's what I do here on my least watched MMA show of all time. Yeah, I'm just like that. Our next topic here on the Cody's MMA Uncensored is Nick Diaz finally speaks out. He first had his YouTube video that he came out with right after he was not cut but replaced for his title fight with George St. Pierre, given to Carlos Condit. Everyone knows how I feel about that, but I'll get into that in a second. But he had more to say on MMAJunkie.com, saying stuff like it wasn't his fault, and people saying that he hated the media is bullshit. He invites any kind of media to his gym. He opens the door for him, but he claims that he lost his passport or something like that. I should have read it before I did this because I read it yesterday, not today. I should have reread it, But he lost his passport. He wasn't intentionally missing the press conferences, and he also calls out fans who are saying he pussed out of the St. Pierre fight and saying that there's something wrong with those fans. Why would he back out from a fight that he knew he was going to win? And he's also calling out George St. Pierre, saying George St. Pierre is a bitch, basically saying that he didn't want to fight Nick Diaz because he knew Nick Diaz would beat him, and he had no problem with Dana White replacing him. He understood. But he had a problem with George St. Pierre not standing up and saying, no, I don't want my opponent changed. And Nick Diaz, Nick Diaz is a weird cat. He had a really big problem with that. He thought George St. Pierre was ducking him. And he also gave his prediction for the Carlos Condit fight. He said, I quote, Condit will probably kick his ass. So, he had a lot to say. I'm trying to think of what else was in the interview, but he kept reiterating that, anytime media wants to come to his gym, he'll open his doors for them. And if you haven't known already, I'm pretty sure you already know, he was rebooked to fight BJ Penn, who was supposed to fight Carlos Condit, and that fight is going to be that is a pick'em fight. I would love to sit here and say Nick Diaz will win, because everyone knows, aside from Rampage Jackson, Nick Diaz is one of my favorite fighters ever. Like, Rampage Jackson and Nick Diaz is right there. And I would love to sit here, but BJ Penn scares me more than St. Pierre did. A lot more. So I'm really worried about this fight as a fan of Nick Diaz, but I'm very excited to see it. I think they'll be in each other's faces. I don't see this going to the ground. Maybe the only way I see it going to the ground is if BJ Penn takes it there, much like he did the John Fitch fight. You know, he trained with Matt Hughes before the Fitch fight. He took Fitch down a couple times, and to this day, I still think that had he been able to do something against Fitch in the third round, he would have been able to win 2-1 decision. So, yeah, but oh man, but he said that, you know, him and BJ were friends before, and you know they have no problem fighting, and he praised BJ, like he compared BJ to St. Pierre, and he's like, if I called St. Pierre a bitch on the street, St. Pierre won't do nothing about it. But if I called BJ Penn a bitch on the street, me and him were fighting. You know, so he had good things to say about BJ Penn, but he says he's gonna beat BJ Penn, and he's gonna get his get his title shot back. And he said he promises this time he'll be the first to show up for every press conference, and he will, as he said, play the game, end quote, and play the game this time, because he has no doubt in his mind he will get his title shot again. This is what I have to say about it. I pretty much agreed with everything that Nick Diaz said. Maybe that's just me. You heard my rant before. I had a very, very big problem with Nick Diaz being replaced over faggot-ass press conferences. I didn't agree with it at all. I thought it was a stupid, stupid thing to do. I mean, you ask anyone, and unless they are a die-hard Carlos Condit fan, people would have rather seen St. Pierre versus Diaz. It doesn't matter what St. Pierre wanted. It shouldn't have mattered what Dana White wanted. It should have mattered what the fans wanted. The fans wanted to see Diaz, St. Pierre. They wanted to see probably the two top welterweights in the world go at it and see who was going to win. And I kept saying, I never really picked Nick Diaz to win, but I guarantee you, George St. Pierre, if he won, he was going to have to earn it. And this was going to be a very tough test for St. Pierre, because Nick Diaz just brings it. And I'm not saying Carlos Condit doesn't, but I think there's a clear difference between Condit and Diaz, how they would fight George St. Pierre. A clear difference. I see Condit being being cautious. That's my problem. I think Condit will be so worried about the takedown that he's going to be cautious with the striking. You're not going to see flying knees. You're not going to see, you know, head kicks or anything like that from Condit. You're going to see him try to be methodical and pick a spot. Where Nick Diaz would just came out, got in St. Pierre's face, and not worried about the takedown because he's comfortable on his back. He's one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world in MMA. Maybe the best in the welterweight division, right there by his buddy. Probably better than his buddy Jake Shields. I'm just, you know, call me biased, but Nick, that shouldn't have happened. Period. But back to what he was saying. I do think George St. Pierre didn't want to fight Nick Diaz. You say whatever you want, but I think a little part of him knew that Nick Diaz was going to be a problem for him, and I really think he thinks that. That's why he didn't have anything to say. All he could say, well, he's not committed to be a champion. He's not doing this and he's not doing that, and with his fighting style that he has done and his boring fights and the way he's been fighting lately, I am starting to get this really big problem with George St. Pierre. I used to be a George St. Pierre fan, but now it's just like he is just rubbing me the wrong way, and I think he should have stepped up and said, no, I've been training for Nick Diaz, I want to fight Nick Diaz, and Dana White probably would have listened to him. I don't think Nick Diaz would have missed the third press conference, because you had a press conference back to back and he already was telling you he was having passport problems, and you're sitting there like, well, it doesn't matter, I'm going to let Condit have this fight, huh? Yeah, huh? You know, huh? You know, it just annoys me, because I've been wanting this fight for a long time, but I do agree with what Nick Diaz was saying. I think George St. Pierre ducked him, kissed my ass. He ducked him. So, I expect him. I want to say Nick Diaz will beat BJ Penn, but I'm not going to. I don't know. I can't give you a winner. I'll have to think about it really hard. But if Nick Diaz does win, I'm pretty sure St. Pierre will beat Condit by holding him down and dry humping him for 5 rounds. And we'll probably see them fight eventually, and then I could just prove my damn point. Alright, so moving on from that, I agree with what Nick Diaz said. I think George St. Pierre ducked him, period. End of story. That's what the Cody says, damn it. Alright, so tomorrow night, will be UFC Fight Night 25, Battle in the Bayou. It'll be the Battle of the Jakes, Jake Shields versus Jake Ellenberger, with a not too interesting undercard of the main event, but we'll talk about them anyway. But, you know, alright, let's start from the bottom up. Alan Belcher versus Jason McDonald. Alan Belcher has not fought since his win over Patrick Cote. What I'm saying by win is that I think, yeah, I don't even remember what happened in that fight, to be honest. Didn't he? I just remember, all I remember about the fight is that I had a problem with the way he won, basically. I don't know. I'm going to have to go look that up. But anyway, he's had a long layoff. Jason McDonald, damn, I don't remember when the last time he fought either. Was it in the UFC? It was in the UFC, wasn't it? I think he beat someone. I did my homework about every other fighter except them because I thought I knew what I needed to know. I suck. Next time I'm doing my homework anyway. Alright, but let's just talk about the fight itself. You got a very good striker against a very good grappler. Jason McDonald, I think his time has kind of run its course. I think Alan Belcher will pick him apart. Maybe get the knockout. I don't know. I will go with Alan Belcher, probably by decision or TKO, but my official pick will probably be decision. I don't even think Jason McDonald could submit him unless he wore Alan Belcher out, because Alan Belcher has jiu-jitsu himself, and, you know, I don't think McDonald could catch him could surprise him on the ground. So I'm going to go with Alan Belcher in this fight, and yeah, I would have talked about it more, but I didn't do my homework. Alright, Jonathan Brookings finally making his UFC debut after winning the Ultimate Fighter at 155. St. Pierre versus coaches St. Pierre versus Koscheck. Jonathan Brookings. This fight, he's going to be taking on Eric Koch, and this fight is going to be very interesting to me. The sexy pick will probably be Jonathan Brookings. His lone loss, I believe it's his lone loss, was to Jose Aldo. And he has this move, if you watch WWE, it's kind of like a belly-to-belly suplex, and he's used it, and he used it in every fight on the Ultimate Fighter, including the Ultimate Fighter finale, and he even did it to Jose Aldo. And so, getting it to the ground might be easy for him. I don't know, but Eric Koch is a monster. His lone loss was to Chad Mendez, and we know how good or bad Chad Mendez is. What I mean by that is that Chad Mendez really doesn't do anything except hold you on the ground. But Eric Koch this is a bad matchup for Jonathan Brookings, because unless he has fixed that problem, I mean, he's had a lot of time to do it, but unless he's fixed that problem, remember, his biggest weakness is that he strikes like this. Okay? He has his hands wide open and his chin just like a billboard up in the air. Like this. He just like, you know, he's like, hit me, bitch. You know, that's how he fights. And Eric Koch has monster power, so... Whew. This is a tough one. I think this is going to be a comeback fight. This is what I expect is going to happen. Jonathan Brookins is going to get takedowns. He's going to get more takedowns. But then he's going to get caught with a punch. And we're going to... Alright, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say Eric Koch by TKO. Third round. Yeah. I can't believe I did that because I really think Jonathan Brookins is a very, very good fighter. But my problem is that I don't think he fixed that problem. You know? Maybe he did, maybe he did. If he did, I would clearly pick Brookins because I think he's that good. If he could avoid getting hit and take it to the ground, he would win. But I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be like, hit me. Watch me, hit me. You know. But I can't believe I just did that. Yeah, but I'm going to go with Eric Koch. I'm going to go with the upset over Brookins. Alright, Court McGee versus Dong Yang. Yeah, I'm going to go with the upset on this one too, because Dong Yang, oh man. He's a guy I think should be undefeated, because I don't think Chris Camozzi beat him. So, and he has a lot of TKOs, and Court McGee had a big problem against Ryan Jensen. Now, Ryan Jensen's a good fighter, but he's not a world beater, and Court McGee had a lot of problems with him on the feet. I'm not clear cut on how Dong Yang is on the ground, but on the feet, he'll take your head off. So, damn. Now sitting here thinking about it, you know, Court McGee probably could control it on the ground, I would think. He just would have to avoid the power, much like Brookins against Koch. Damn. How often did two upsets happen in one night? So I gotta pick one. Okay, fine. I'm gonna go with Court McGee by decision. That's a tough one for me because I think Dong Yang could beat him. Okay, Dong Yang will beat him by TKO round 2. Okay, that's my official pick. Shut up, I don't care. Alright, now let's go to the main event. Now this one, I'm definitely going to have a hard one picking on this one. Okay, Jake Shields versus Jake Ellenberger. Jake Ellenberger, very good wrestler. He is probably... I describe him as the poor man's Dan Henderson. Not as good wrestling, but he has wrestling, and he has that power shot in his right hand. Like I say, Dan Henderson can knock out anyone in his division if he hits him with that right hand. And I think the same thing about Jake Ellenberger. I think he could knock out anyone with that punch. So, question is, could he get to Jake Shields' chin? And how will he do off his back if Jake Shields gets him to the ground? This is a tough pick, but I gotta go with Jake Shields in this one. I have to. I think Jake Shields could survive even if he gets caught. I think he has the veteran instincts. He could survive. Maybe catch a submission on him coming in. I even think he could take him down because, he has this... The one thing that George St. Pierre did very well is that, against Jake Shields, is that he didn't let him hold on to a leg. Because Jake Shields is very good at dragging you to the ground, even if you stuff the takedown at first. Like, if he has a leg, he could drag you to the ground. He did it against Dan Henderson. He did it against Martin Kampmann. And George St. Pierre, I think, was smart enough to know that and just shrugged him off completely. Will Jake Ellenberger know that same thing? I don't know, because I think if Jake Shields gets a hold of him, he could drag him to the ground and possibly submit him. But I don't know how good Jake Ellenberger is off his back. So that's what makes this interesting. But I'm going to go with Jake Shields in this. I'm not going to say submission which is probably the pick I should say, but I'm going to go with decision. I think he'll take him down and control him, wear him down. But because I think the only thing Jake Shields has to worry about against Ellenberger is that right hand. And if he's wary of that, which I know he will be, he'll do fine. But it's a close matchup. I'm not making it sound like it is, but it is. Jake Ellenberger is a good fighter, and I think his lone loss in the UFC, I'm not entirely sure, but I think the only time he lost was to Carlos Condit, wasn't it? A fight he was winning, but I have to see. I'll do my homework. But and also hearts go out to Jake Shields. Jake Shields, even though Jake Shields he lost his father, but he still is gonna fight. So maybe we'll have a Brett Favre-esque moment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Brett Favre played on Monday Night Football after his losing his father the weekend before, and have probably one of his best games of not only that year but in his entire career outside that near Super Bowl one he had with the Vikings. But and it was a very emotional, very good moment, and maybe Jake Shields will have that same moment, and he'll come in there with extra motivation, trying to get a win for his dad. And I know how that feels. I lost my dad at 16, and it made me motivated to do more in my life. So I know what kind of motivation losing a family member could do. So I think Jake Shields will have a mental advantage maybe, and maybe that'll help him get the win. But so my official picks for the UFC Fight Night 25 card, I'm going to go with Alan Belcher over Jason McDonald. I'm going to go with 2 upsets in a row. Eric Koch over Jonathan Brookings, Dong Yang over Court McGee, and then I'm going to go with Jake Shields over Jake Ellenberger. And yeah, I'm going to cut it off right there. That will do it for the UFC, the Cody's MMA Uncensored. But I do want to say this. I know this ain't a boxing, but I've been talking about football but I want to just say this. I'm a huge Floyd Mayweather fan. I am probably one of the few people that thinks he would beat Manny Pacquiao, because I think he's one of the best defensive boxers in the game. He has great counter strikes, and he's really difficult to hit. But I just want to say, he better not sleep on Victor Ortiz. He better not. That's all I'm going to say about that, because Victor Ortiz got lucky in his fight against Andre Berto. I think Andre Berto was one of those fast-rising stars that, was about to start getting mentioned in the same aspect as a Mayweather or a Pacquiao. He was a really, really good fighter, and Ortiz got a very close decision over him. I think it was a decision. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't been watching a lot of boxing matches lately. The last boxing match I watched was Sugar Shane Mosley against Floyd Mayweather. And of course my boy Bernard Hopkins. Yeah, no, that was my last, where Bernard Hopkins won that title. Yeah, that's my boy right there. I love Bernard Hopkins. But he better not sleep on Victor Ortiz. I will not be surprised if Ortiz wins this fight. I won't be, but I will pick Floyd Mayweather. He's too elusive. He has very good combinations, and like I said, he's probably one of the best defensive boxers in the game today. I mean, he's 41-0 for a reason. But I just wanted to point that out for any kind of boxing fans. Let's just hope anybody going for Mayweather, don't count out Ortiz just yet. But that fight's going to be tomorrow night if you don't want to watch UFC Fight Night. And of course, I'll be going back through the channels watching college football and Fight Night, but I will not be watching the boxing match. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say that real fast. But anyway, that will do it for the Cody's MMA Uncensored. No question, MMA question of the week. No one answers it, really. Only a couple people do, so I'm not going to go with that until maybe I started getting more viewers. I wanted to do the Cody's NFL Uncensored. I love to talk about football, but if you want to hear me talk about football every week, I do my weekly picks, and I give a little brief my brief thoughts on the previous week. And if you want to check that out, go to my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/thesportscody. I have it under my notes. I pick a game every week. I had a horrible week last week. I went 6-9. Got a lot of hack for picking against the Jets from the JDH1, and a few of my friends on Twitter was like, why are you picking against the Jets, man? Mark Sanchez, Super Bowl MVP. I'm sorry, I was wrong, my fault. But hey, none of them were world beaters. Let's just be real here. I mean, them and the Cowboys kind of stunk up the field. That's all I'm saying. I mean, the Jets need to, they need to shape up if they want to get back to the playoffs, which they probably will anyway. But don't know if I can say the same thing about the Cowboys. We'll just have to see. Anyway, yeah, that's it. But like I said, if you're interested in hearing me talk about the NFL, that's where you find it. If you want me to do the Cody's NFL Uncensored, let me know. Tweet me. The Cody _says. Facebook page, I already told you. Comment section below. I'll do it if you want me to, because I brought back Random Cody. If you don't know what Random Cody was, I do crazy, dumb shit randomly, and I just post it on YouTube, and I call it Random Cody. I just started doing that again. I dressed up in a wig, Hey, I played a person named Hey, and then I put my jigsaw mask on and pretended to be Peebo, and then I put boxers on my head and pretended to be Babu, and said that Christmas gift wrapping paper was deadly, and all that stuff. So you can go check that out on the same YouTube page. But anyway, like I was saying 5 minutes ago, that will do it for the Cody's MMA Uncensored. I'm the Cody. You're the very few people that watches. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.